Day 3 with Russell Brand. See it first on Rumble.
Given that you even refute the definition pandemic, what do you think about the broader response and some of the manifestations around it, mate?
Well, I mean, it takes a while before you can discover what really is behind vast crimes. I mean, when they're actually happening, no one really knows. The best analysis I've found is by a guy called Fabio Viggi, I think it is, and he has a pretty convincing case for the fact that it was just a means of pumping in trillions of dollars into the economy and switching off Main Street. That is basically the modus operandi of the economic system since forever, really. It's a debt-based Ponzi scheme, and it's inevitably going to crash and crash and crash and crash, and the only way to save it is to print money. So it's just a way of printing money.
I see. So you think it's economically driven. When you say something like that,
and technologically, I mean, it was an excuse to expand the technosphere as well.
Certainly, both of those things happened. But ultimately, now we're in the terrain of what the mainstream media would call conspiracy theory, and I suppose the area of that that's always challenging to discuss is how something of that nature would be coordinated. We can see there was a massive wealth transfer. We can see it facilitated greater surveillance. You can see that it was a soft sell for social credit scoring and introduced ideas that previously would have been unconscionable. But when we talk about the execution of a global conspiracy, it always leads to the necessity for collaboration. Whilst there are sort of propagandist and sort of greenwashing organisations like WEF hidden in plain sight, while there are bodies like the IMF that leverage debt and their actions around this war and previous wars, is you can certainly apply a comparable analysis to the one you just applied there. When you say something at that scale that is a way of flooding the system with money, do you feel that it requires actual conspiracy, or do you see that their convergence of interest can just bring about those kind of states?
Option B.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the system is self-operating to a large extent. It is basically a machine. And that's something that's often missed in radical analysis, that we are living in a machine. And you've got the people on the right who own the machine, what you call capitalists, and then you've got people on the left who manage the machine, the professional class. But it's the machine that is the problem. We are all suckling at this vast, vast robotic world now. And it has its own priorities, its own way of working. It forces us to think and live in certain ways. It forces us to become like machines.
Stay free with Russell Brand. See it first on Rumble.